Correct. Yeah, it's the.
You should go up and do it together. You say one line, no say one line. Or you should switch them.
Yeah, actually, I'm doing one of them.
You're doing what? Oh, yeah.
Mine's a memoir.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
I don't know, they're running late all the time.
Like the font.
They should be here, but they're not.
The font.
I haven't texted her and she's still.
Hey, so those who are speaking today, quick huddle up, okay? I get up, I'm going to do an intro, but I'm not going to introduce each of you individually. Just that gets awkward. So once we're rolling, and you've got the list, when it's your turn, come on up and make sure you lead off with, hi, I'm Ariel Katz. So introduce yourselves. And
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
so please watch and prepare yourselves when it's your turn. You can hop on up. Okay? Can you make sure you grab a blade? Okay. Okay. And any other questions from any of you? Yeah, we said we started 1:15, so we'll have to wait for that. It is. So it's being streamed live, and then it will be broken down into videos. Posted to videos. No. There you go. If you walk by, I'll ask for some confirmation. So, Mr. Cutler, they don't do video, they'll be able to access their individual speeches, correct? Yeah. That's the hope. Yeah.
It's live streamed. There was a link that was sent out, and even though it's not live, it should still be there for another day or two, and then we'll eventually segment them out into individual.
We could download them after.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
And you still have 5 minutes or so.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Who's here? Bunch of chairs?
Can you turn that up a little bit?
You know how to do it.
I think it's high as it goes.
Okay. Max?
No.
And the mic is maxed out too.
Okay. Yeah.
It just hurts to read it.
I'll trade with you.
It's like so not serious.
Hey, grade 12, so when you're out there, you have to make sure you're nice and close to the mic. Otherwise, I'm going to pick you up. So if it's down here, we're not going to hear you. You need to be nice and close. It'll be easy. I'll bring it down to you. Shorter is easier, actually. We'll make sure the mic's nice and close. And yeah, speak into it. Don't worry about being too loud. If you're too loud, I can turn you down. But if you're not close enough, it's hard. So nice and close.
Okay, now is it working?
The rest of you. Yeah. We'll be done. But yeah.
So there should have been there was a link sent out.
Mel, who else?
Damn, I gotta tell him. Oh, he looks like a different man. No,
Chris off. Now look. No,
that's
okay.
okay.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm sure you can
I'm not
Well, there they are. No 100 here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Say your last. That should I say Ariel? That's Ariel.
That's something like someone's dead, you kind of oh my goodness. Facts and
Can you make sure that you say your Instagram? I would figure you said
so low
My name's actually Ariel.
Ariel Rose.
I'm calling myself Ariel.
Ariel Rose.
My name is Ariel. My dad calls me Ariel.
Can I hand pick who goes first and last?
Maybe I'll keep it.
You got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna talk so fast you won't even hear a word. You wipe it off your face. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Blue shoes, blue socks,
I didn't even time mine.
blue light.
I didn't even time.
I heard a song this morning that was like, I'm so
Good? Are you ready? Okay, I think it's 1:15, so we will begin. Welcome everyone, thank you so much for joining us. This is an annual event at Aberdeen Hall, or this IW's speeches, and as always, we're excited to hear from our students. This is a chance for our students to have a voice, to speak about something that they have close to their hearts. We haven't dictated what they say today, and we're quite enthusiastic and excited to hear what's going to come out. So this is both an opportunity for our students to have that voice, to speak for a few minutes, a rare opportunity, really, about anything that they want to, It's also partial fulfillment for us of the grad transitions requirement with the ministry, and so this is how we choose to do it. We ask our students to show that they've given thought to where they've been and where they're going, and that there is that progression, and I think that they've done that admirably. We look forward to hearing it. The format today, I'm not going to introduce people independently, because that gets a little bit onerous. So rather, the students are going to come up when it's their turn, they'll introduce themselves, and they'll begin. And if we can support them with a well-deserved round of applause upon completion, that would be awesome. If you are watching online or you have family members who would like to see this afterwards, it is being streamed as we speak. It will also be posted to both YouTube and Vimeo and some sites to access it later on. Everybody's welcome to see it. Don't want anyone to miss out. So this morning, we've given the rather wonderful task of beginning to Ms. Ariel Katz, and she's going to lead us out. So can we welcome her to the stage?
Hi, I'm Ariel Katz. High school. When I was younger, the idea of it seemed like both the best and most intimidating experience ever. I remember being in grade 4 and walking the halls, looking up at all the big kids who seemed like giants. And here I am, 8 years older, 5'2", and still looking up at the giants all around me. Some things never change. Somehow, in what seems like the blink of an eye, I'm here standing before all of you at the end of my high school experience, talking about what I believe in. The truth is, I believe in a lot of things. The power of positive thinking, world peace, global warming, a good 3-pump almond milk chai latte. But most of all, I believe in the power of knowledge. The idea that we should never be resistant to the possibility of learning new things. To never discount what we are capable of, and to surround ourselves with people and go to places that enable us to reach our true and utmost potential. So welcome to my journey through the years. When I first came to Aberdeen Hall in grade 4, the campus was just the little red building over there and an empty field. And just like the campus around me, with each year, I began to grow and mature. And as each new building went up, I became a year older and a year wiser. I guess I'll start off with my first year here. Grade 4. There were 13 kids in my class, quite a bit smaller than the 50-plus person grad class we have today. Grade 4 taught me to not be afraid of new beginnings, and that becoming part of a new school isn't scary at all when you're surrounded by friends and teachers who make it feel like home. Grade 5 was the year Avi brought a lizard in as our class pet. Avi assumed the pet would live for maybe a year. 7 years later, he decided to research the lifespan of this lizard. 20 years, the thing never dies. Grade 5 was the year we went to Pines Outdoor Adventure Camp, still my favorite Horizons week. At Pines, my independence began to develop, and so did my sense of self. Grade 6 was the year of the slicked back ponytail. Not a good look. I remember specifically because it was the first year I ran for school politics as the grade 6 class prefect. I made a poster with my picture on the front of it with a cheesy smile and a thumbs up and plastered 30 of them around the school. Grade 6 inspired my passion for leadership, and now I'm co-president of the student council. It means the world to me to have been given the opportunity and privilege of leading such an inspiring group of individuals. In grade 7, the iPhone became a big deal. I remember the day at school that Grace's phone repeatedly pocket-dialed the police station. The police came to the school and Grace was called to the office. Needless to say, Grace's cell phone was kept in a Tupperware container until the situation was resolved. That was also the year I went to China for 3 weeks and visited 13 cities. Like my dad says, we learn the most when we travel, because most everything is new. In my humble opinion, traveling to other countries and learning about other cultures is one of the most enriching experiences our world has to offer. Grade 8 was the year of high school drama. Girlfriends and first boyfriends fueled by raging hormones. The way I see it, drama is unavoidable. It's part of growing up. We have to choose our battles wisely, while being sensitive to the feelings of those around us. I realize that time is precious, so we need to surround ourselves with those that inspire and empower us to become the best version of ourselves. By grade 9, Aberdeen Hall was growing rapidly, so much so that the drama room became our homeroom class. I never really struggled with schoolwork before grade 9. I chose to accelerate my academic career and took grade 10 math. I had a really challenging time that year, often crying over my workbook, unable to grasp a certain concept, regardless of how hard I tried. That year, my dad gave me a piece of advice that I'll never forget. He said, "Ariel, sometimes learning new things makes you feel stupid. And then you break through and learn them. And then you move on to the next thing that makes you feel stupid because that's what learning is. Now I'm taking calculus and still waiting for that breakthrough he was talking about so that I could finally stop feeling stupid. Grade 10 taught me that with each passing day comes a new opportunity to grow and explore activities that we enjoy. That summer, I attended a 2-week Introduction to Law program at Oxford University in England. At first terrified of being away from home and on the other side of the world, it turned out to be one of the best summers of my life. That summer, I discovered my passion for the law, in particular human rights law. By the end of the 2-week program, I was named valedictorian. I also discovered a newfound sense of purpose and drive to pursue a career in which I could give a voice to those who are silenced and make a real difference in the lives of many. My mother has always said that success is not measured by what we have, but by what we give. I aspire to live by this message and hope that my parents will see the good that I plan to accomplish. My family is my source of my inspiration, and I'm very grateful to have the values and work ethic that they have instilled in me. Grade 11 was a year of heartbreak and new beginnings. Honestly, it was the year I found myself and realized what was truly important. In grade 11, I learned to cherish my true friends and family, because regardless of what comes and goes, they will always be the ones that are there for you. And finally, grade 12, probably the most difficult and best year of my life. Grade 12 is the year of big decisions, as we take stock of who we are and where we want to go. Looking back in retrospect, I realize that each year brings new beginnings, learning, some painful and others exciting. I now understand why it's said that life is a journey, with new adventures around every bend. I also understand that learning never stops, that we must appreciate each year and every experience to realize and grow to our true potential. I believe that my time at this school has instilled the knowledge to start my journey and the confidence to accomplish whatever I set my mind to. Thank you, Aberdeen Hall.
Hi, I'm Michael Ogden. In today's world, people are exposed to absurd amounts of ways to receive instant gratification and appease their desires with as little exertion as possible. Be it from indulging in foods, drugs, or alcohol, or the passive culture instilled by the advent of television, computers, and other forms of media, people of the 21st century have been conditioned to seek the most easily accessible and fastidious ways to appease their desires. Due to this recent phenomenon, it has become more and more difficult for modern youth to appreciate how putting in effort and working to fulfill a goal can provide gratification beyond just the end goal itself. Speaking as a member of Generation Z, I have firsthand experience with the development of passive culture and the effect it has on developing minds. As children grow up exposed to simple ways to temporarily fulfill their wants and desires, for example by satiating hunger through processed food, or the need for stimulation through exposure to media, they quickly become acclimated to this form of gratification and will apply this thought process across many aspects of their lives. I believe the most directly visible and widespread effect of this perspective can be found in the constant decline of importance held by fitness in modern youth. It may seem as though the simplest solution to increasing activity in adolescence will be to take them away from screens or other sedentary pastimes. And despite finding this to be a very necessary solution, I believe that the root of the problem lies elsewhere. Although the way in which people's fitness is affected by spending more time in front of screens rather than being active is obvious and widespread, I believe that the more pertinent damage being done to adolescents' health and their perspective of activity is that from body images painted by advertisements in the media. Media and advertisements are directly constructed to appeal to individuals' unfulfilled desires. And one of the most easily manipulable desires is that to be attractive. Through the ubiquitous use of irregularly attractive models and cultural icons in all forms of media, people can be taken advantage of by associating their desire for physical beauty with any number of marketed products. This manipulative marketing not only takes advantage of people's inherent jealousy, but also forms a perspective of self-improvement that has prevented many young individuals from being able to take initiative and improve their situations. By constantly providing developing minds with uncommonly attractive people, it both creates an impossible standard of beauty while also teaching them that the majority of people are naturally this regularly beautiful, and more importantly, that they themselves are unable to become like these people. This belief that the paragons of physical health are completely alien to the people observing them teaches both youth and adults to focus only on their current state and the impossible goals set by role models in the media, while ignoring the epic process in between. The problem with this perspective is that it completely omits not only the work that must be undertaken to achieve these goals, but also ignores the variety of benefits that arise from the sheer act of working towards a goal. I had the benefit of receiving correction in my perspective on maintaining physical health and the overall concept of working towards goals by playing basketball throughout my high school life. When I first began playing, I'd done so out of an interest for the game itself. But alongside the opportunity to play basketball came the responsibility of working to maintain and improve one's skills and physical health. At first, I despised this process, and I decided to just grit my teeth and push on with the goal of getting more time on the court. Now, many of those who saw our games over the years may know that I certainly was not a constant presence on the court. And due to this limited playtime, it can be difficult to find motivation to continue putting in effort for this reward. But despite this, I still felt motivated to continue pushing myself to do more for the team as the years went on. It bewildered me, but there was this constant urge to continue somewhere in me, and it took me until my final year playing to truly realize what it was. This urge to keep coming back to the sport, no matter how much it overwhelmed or exhausted me, was due to the myriad of benefits that I hadn't even realized I was profiting from. Be it from the social experiences, emotional and physical catharsis that so many young people lack, or the blessing of constant motivation to continue improving my health. I've begun to recognize and appreciate how my life had been improved by simple recreational activity. This newfound perspective has continued to improve my life, as I've been able to widely apply this gratitude for the inherent ways any form of work can benefit an individual across all aspects of my life. Be it in my jobs, where I've begun to recognize how I'm not only able to obtain a paycheck, but also obtain work experience, build social connections, and create witnesses of my work ethic. Or in my schoolwork, where consistently doing class or homework builds study habits and teaches me not to become overwhelmed by responsibilities. These are only two of my personal examples of how individuals are able to benefit from working towards goals beyond obtaining the end goal itself. This perspective allows for anyone to find more motivation and gratification in overcoming their obstacles. And I hope it has helped you to remember to always value the process, not just the completion. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Max Balaka. I believe playing hockey has provided me with some of the greatest memories, lessons, and opportunities throughout my life. It has given me chances to travel the world, make lasting friendships, and has given me chances to further my education. Hockey has helped push me to pursue a healthy lifestyle and make me into the person I am today. Being involved in a competitive sport has given me goals to play at the highest level possible throughout my life and has pushed me to be an active person. From the first time I started playing the game, my goal was always to play in the NHL. What could be better than getting paid to do what you truly love every single day? But as I look back at the past 12 years of playing the game I love, I realized it's so much more than what most people would see on the surface. Being involved with a team and spending every day with them is what I believe has been the greatest memory that I've made. Some of my best friends are guys that I have spent countless hours of my life on the ice with. Being part of a team, all chasing the same goal, is something that I think anyone would be lucky to experience. I can still remember the feeling right before a big tournament when I was younger, barely being able to sleep the night before, waking up hours before my alarm went off, and putting on my team tracksuit. Playing in front of 30 parents seemed like we were playing in front of a sold-out crowd in the Stanley Cup playoffs. These are memories that I'll never forget. Also, hockey has pushed me to live an active lifestyle and stay in shape. Having the desire to be my best and making my goals a reality has turned me into the hard worker I am today. To get up for early morning workouts and being conscious of what I put in my body to better my performance, even if hockey doesn't work out for me, I've learned how to eat and exercise properly to keep myself healthy. Hockey has taken me to some of the biggest cities across North America. I've seen parts of the world that I would never have seen otherwise. Hockey has taken me from the top of the Empire State Building to jumping in the Boston Harbor with my teammates. I've spent the last few years balancing my hockey with my schoolwork, and it has taught me how to multitask. It's taught me to become more independent in my classwork, having to catch up on assignments from the classes I missed that day. Hockey has also given me the opportunity to further my education at a Division I college in the NCAA. Who would even imagine that 12 years ago, when I started playing hockey, it would lead me to these amazing opportunities, like the chance to play hockey for a top-notch college in the United States. I would not be where I am today without the help of everyone in my family. I'd like to thank my brothers and sisters for always supporting me and pushing me to be the best person on and off the ice. My grandma, who has spent hours in the rink and watched all of my games online when we were on the road. My grandpa, who used to drive me halfway across Edmonton almost every night just so I could get to practice. Most importantly, my parents for doing everything that they could to support me in pursuing my dream. Starting me with hockey when I was 6 years old and always being there to encourage me along the way. I will forever be grateful for all the sacrifices they made for me, from the early mornings to moving to Kelowna so I could further chase my dreams. I believe any parent should put their child in hockey because it has provided me with far more opportunities and memories than I could ever imagine.
Hi, I'm Jordan Ray. So a few weeks ago, we were introduced with the task of writing a speech on something that we believed in or were passionate about. Being told that this would be our final opportunity in high school to share a little piece of who we are and speak our thoughts in front of a live audience. My immediate reaction was panic, and I'm sure many other students were crossed with fear as well. But the fear for me, however, was not from the words we'll be speaking in front of a live audience, and rather the idea that I had to reflect on my years of high school and find something meaningful to speak about. I've been a student here at Aberdeen Hall for 4 years, so this assignment came as no surprise. Yet whenever I thought of it, I could feel my stomach tightening up. So I thought to myself, what do I believe in? There are so many great things that I could talk about, and yet my mind remained blank. After sleeping on it for a few nights, I recognized something that I'm truly passionate about. To live a life full of self-achievement, you must wholly believe that you have the ability and the strength to do so. I believe that the greatest thing to put your faith in is yourself. Looking back on my years here at Aberdeen Hall, one of the things that jumps out at me is the teachers. Every single teacher here makes it their main objective to push students to the best of their ability and help them achieve their individual goals. From staying after school to even Miss Bryden coming in on a Saturday to help a group of panicked students, the teachers truly put their heart and soul into everything that they do. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, and rather a sign of strength. I have learned that you can never ask too many questions, especially when surrounded by so many knowledgeable people. At the end of the day, though, high school has taught me that it is you writing that test, or that essay, and it is you filling out that university application. The people around you can only help so much, and you must have faith that you have put in enough hours of work, and that all the help you have received along the way has prepared you for the exciting, yet challenging world to come. Once I graduate high school, I plan to head off to university and receive a degree in management, and later pursue my dreams of going to law school. With these ambitions will come great challenges. As you go through life, there will always be someone smarter than you, or more privileged, or even someone with just better luck. But the one thing you can control is how hard you work. You can work harder than anyone else and put in more hours, and now it is up to me to work as hard as I can and build the future that I dream of. I believe you can achieve anything you want in life, and I believe your future really is in your own hands. When your belief is strong, no setback will have the power to wipe you out entirely. You must have the willingness to get back up after each failure or setback and continue pursuing the life of your dreams. At the end of the day, no one can give success to you. You must believe in yourself and go out and get it. Reflecting on yourself is also something I believe to be very powerful. After everything is all said and done, after each day that passes, it is just you, alone with your thoughts. It is essential to be proud of the person that you fall asleep as. You could be the most successful person in the world, but I personally believe it means nothing if you're not proud of the person that got you there. Yourself is the one individual that you'll have for the entirety of your life, and you must build that person into someone that you love and someone that you're proud to be. Lead by example. Be the friend you want to have. Be the kind stranger you appreciate. Be the hard worker that you admire. Like I stated before, I believe you can be anyone you want to be, and with belief in yourself, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Reading the speech to you all today will hopefully be something that provokes your own thoughts, and maybe even something that changes your frame of mind. But I didn't write my speech for that reason alone. The words that I spoke today are often beliefs that I sometimes fail to remember, ideas that are overwhelmed by the chaos of my day-to-day life. I wrote this speech to remind me that I need to believe in myself too. Next year, I will be moving away from my family and starting a whole new chapter of my life, and I needed to retell myself that I have the strength to be whoever I want to be, and that I can achieve anything I set my mind to. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Elia Katz. There is a famous quote by Napoleon Hill: "All achievements, all earned riches, have their beginning in an idea." I strongly believe in this quote because I have witnessed the truth that it holds. My father set his sights on a higher purpose in life. He wanted to move society to a better place, which influenced his life choices and made him who he is today. He originally pursued a career in law because he understood that education was important and would prepare him for his future aspirations, whatever they might be. He held various executive positions throughout his career, which broadened his knowledge and gave him confidence. At the age of 40, he took a leap of faith from a stable, high-paying executive job to pursue his vision. Acting upon his desire to positively influence society and make a difference in the lives of others, he became a leader in the groundbreaking field of functional food development. After years of product innovation for big companies, he launched his own line of low-glycemic nutrition bars. The Solo Bar Company is the realization of his dream and how he is moving society to a healthier place. Success did not come easy. Since my father started his business, he and my mother have faced many hardships in the form of health problems. I personally find it extremely hard to believe that my father ever had cancer and endured chemotherapy along with other experimental treatments. And it is difficult to imagine that my mother has had her entire large intestine removed, because neither one of them ever seemed to skip a beat. My father didn't allow these serious challenges to prevent him from realizing his dream and continuing to build his business. Also, I don't know if he could have done it without my mother's support and infinite work ethic. My parents are my heroes and have given me the confidence to accomplish anything, to accomplish whatever I put my mind to, through great effort and persistence. Since I can remember, my parents have encouraged me to be the best version of myself. I think my father has always seen a little bit of himself in me and believes that I too can achieve a higher purpose during my lifetime. He has always challenged me to push the limits of what I can accomplish. As a toddler, when he would tuck me into bed each night, he would ask me the same question for the purpose of expanding my mind and to ensure that I would not let myself be limited by convention. He would ask me, if space is infinite, what is it infinite in? As I fell asleep, I would think long and hard about this question. Obviously, I haven't figured it out because I'm here giving a 3-minute speech in my high school and not leading NASA's top scientists to discover life in distant planets. While my father's words didn't cause me to pursue a career in science like he may have hoped, I will be pursuing a degree through the Ivy School of Business at Western University. Since the age of 3, me and my sister have been immersed in the world of business and entrepreneurship. We've been tasked with small roles in the family business and have learned firsthand from our parents what it takes to start and run a successful company. I plan to follow in my parents' footsteps by obtaining a university degree and one day starting a business of my own. Going back to the quote from the beginning of my speech, all achievements, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. I do not believe that there is a better example of this than where I stand right now. This great school started as an idea from a small group of parents with a desire to give their children the best education available, and has become one of the top schools in the Okanagan, and has by far the best view. I wish to thank my amazing teachers and loving parents for showing me that anything is possible if I put my mind to it. I now feel ready to chase my dreams, and if I ever lose sight of my priorities, I will think back to the people that inspired me in the first place. I am excited and ready to see what the future has in store for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Angel. My brother is someone that means a lot to me, and I would like to use this speech opportunity to thank him for everything he has done. I was born 7 years after him, and many people may think that is a big age gap, and it would be difficult for me and him to get along, but we got along super well, and I know it's because he would let me have it on my way on everything. Since we were young, because of me, he had to take on many responsibilities of caring for a little sister. I don't remember too much from when we were kids, but I remember when we were at a boarding school and I would get homesick. He would come and visit me every day and make sure and call mom and dad with me. The other kids your age, were hanging out with their friends or doing their own stuff, and you would use that free time to talk to me and make sure that I was doing okay at school. In grade 10, I moved in with you, and our parents were not by our sides. At first, I felt skeptical, and I thought that there was no way we were going to survive 3 years together. I was surprised you were even willing to take care of me at first. But after these 3 years of living with you, I don't think there's a better person to look over you. In these 3 years, I've learned a lot from you. I learned how to get along and care for other people, and I've noticed that since I've moved in with you, I became more open to talk to people speak about what I really think. You gave me tips not only for school but also for life. It was easier for you to talk. It was easier for me to talk to you about my problems that I was having, because you never made me feel like I was doing something wrong. Rather, I was just learning and being a kid. You took parts and responsibilities a parent had, although you complain how annoying I am. I know you're gonna miss me when I go off to university. You act cold and heartless to the things that I say. But I know you care more than anyone if there was something to happen to me. You always say how your life is going to be better when I go to university because it's going to be peaceful again. But sometimes you're more annoying than my mom, worrying about everything that's going to happen to me. Since we were kids, you've done all that you could to try to put a smile on my face and make me the happiest sister. It is so hard for me to imagine that we're going to have our lives separated, and I hope you enjoyed having me as your sister as much as I did being your sister. Oh. Sorry, I'm so nervous. I hope you enjoyed having me as much as I. Oh. Sorry. I hope you enjoyed having me as your sister as much as I enjoyed being it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tony. Hi everyone. Today it is my pleasure to talk to you about my life as an international student. 2 years ago, I thought about making a change in my life. A change that would allow me to experience something different. Something that will make me a better and more independent person. It took me years to realize that I was not following the right path and the choices I made were not the best. Throughout many years, my parents did everything in their power to help me become a better person. But at the end, the only one who really made a difference was me. I thought that the best thing I could do was to take a break from my comfort zone and experience a more independent life. In September 2016, I first arrived in Kelowna, 4 days before school started. I spent some time to get to know the city, and it didn't take long to realize that Kelowna is a very decent place to live in. A couple days later, I had to meet with my new host family. Honestly, I was not looking forward for that moment. I remember being completely nervous, and I kept asking myself, what would happen if I don't like them, or if they don't like me? After meeting them, I realized that I was very lucky. Having 3 host brothers, almost the same age as me, was the perfect match. This is now my second year with them, and I could not ask for a better place to live in. My first couple days in school were not easy. Being surrounded by people who speak a different language and have different culture made me doubt if it was a good idea to be here. Soon, I realized that everyone was friendly, and it's in their one in the soccer and rugby team. It took me just a couple weeks to adapt myself to the school system and how things work in Canada. And for this reason, I want to thank all the teachers for guiding me from the very first day. It's now been 2 years away from home, away from my family and friends. The past 2 years, I lost people that I loved. I wasn't there to say goodbye. Knowing that I could have spent more time with them makes it harder to be away. For me, leaving my country behind was a big sacrifice. But with time, I have learned that sacrifices come with big rewards. I learned from great teachers. I made great friends. My coaches helped me become a better athlete, and my host family took great care of me. I will never forget my experience at Aberdeen, and I will always remember the people who shared great memories with me throughout the past years. Before concluding, I want to express how grateful I am to my parents for this great opportunity, and how despite my dad's health condition, they have always been there for me, making sure that I have all the tools needed to follow my dreams. They are my greatest inspiration, and I will always look up to them. As well, I want to leave a message for the upcoming international students. Take this opportunity to make new friends, learn from new cultures and great teachers. Take advantage of living in a great city with beautiful surroundings, and most importantly, be part of the community through volunteering and sports, because it's always great to have a family away from home. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natasha Pat. Since I have left my country and came here for study, it has been almost 3 years. I would like to acknowledge the people who constantly support me. For sure, it has always felt like an adventure to live halfway around the earth from my hometown. 3 years ago, I was excited to meet new friends and interact with a new culture. But it is not easy for me to come to Canada alone without knowing one here. And there were some times in which I have been lost in some way. My parents and my friends, who are willing to listen to me when I wanted to express my feelings, they play a significant role over these 3 years. During this period of time, even though I have doubted myself, my ability, my characteristics, I'm grateful for having such understanding parents and friends who would stand by my side and help me walk through the difficult times. I certainly changed a lot and learned some essential life lessons. The most meaningful lesson I got is that it is necessary to define who you really are. Don't conform, don't judge. People all have different goals and want different things. So it is vital that we stay focused on what we value the most. Sometimes I would question myself when I decide to do something. I would ask, how will others think of this? However, I have understood that even if you make the perfect movement in the world, there will be a person or two that still judge your actions. Then sometimes we just lose ourselves by making ingratiating actions. And we don't even notice that we ignore our true feelings inside. I do not mean that we should just disregard other advice. We should always take it in and consider what we can take out of it. However, if others' opinion make you feel bewildered, after you try to make a difference but still feel uncomfortable, then just simply stop listening and overthinking. A few weeks ago, I read an article. The author says that if a person who is not full of ambitions and he or she graduated with high marks and got a high salary job, eventually that person will leave the job because of the intense pressure. I believe it is important for us to know ourselves clearly. Who I am, what is my character, what is my advantage and disadvantage, what kind of life do I want to live. The most important point is to consider that these questions are complex, and their answers change over time. This question needed to be asked repeatedly in one's life. And during this long path, maybe you could not recognize who you really are, but you would discover a new self. People always forget that the motivation that comes from our heart is the determination of what we can achieve. Almost everyone has seen carriage horses. They usually wear blinkers on the side of their eyes. Blinkers only allow horses to see forward, not sideways. In a way, we should put blinkers on ourselves too, and stop looking sideways. Only in this way we can control our mind, pursue what we want, and not be restricted by others. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Olivia, and through the years at Aberdeen, I've watched the grads prepare for speeches, seeing their nerves and excitements hit them all at once. When our grad year began, I completely forgot that soon it would be all of my classmates and I doing the exact same thing. It's funny, because as a musician who is on the stage all the time, when I told my friends that I was nervous to share my beliefs with you all, they laughed. Firstly, because they didn't understand how someone who sings in crowds of people for a living could get nervous, but also, when you have all this pressure to actually think and sit and think about your beliefs, it's an easy reminder that most of us are still figuring out what we believe in. When it first came out that I'd rather be a musician than go to university and pursue an academic career, it turned a lot of heads. I understand most people probably think I'm throwing away a path that could set me up for a very ideal future. But what most people don't understand is that if I chose the academic path, I would be throwing away the one thing that makes me who I am. For those of you who continue to feel as though I'm making a mistake, I respect your viewpoint, but I also respectfully disagree.
I'm realizing now that I've never needed the approval or validation of those around me to be who I am, just my own. You see, sometimes people won't understand or agree with your choices, and not everybody is going to like you and what you do, but I've learned that that's okay. My career is not just another hobby. It's a profession that can be tiring, emotionally draining, but over all of those things, it's fulfilling. No matter what situation I've been in through my life, I've turned to what I can rely on most, which is my career. Because of what I do, I grew up fast. I've worked with adults every day since I was 11, which is a good and a bad thing. For one thing, I had this ongoing fear that I was growing up way too fast and missing the small pleasures of life that every child should experience. Despite my drive and motivation for music, I still wanted to be a kid. I learned early on that I wasn't always going to get to be that kid if I wanted to be a musician. When I was 13, I met Robin, my producer, co-writer, and most of all, friend. We met through my managers, who I love and adore to pieces, as they have taught me more than I could have ever learned on my own about music. There's many things I could say about Robin, but Robin is special, honest, kind, and more talented than anyone I've ever met in my life. But for years, I watched my friend struggle with ongoing depression that often cast a shadow over all of his talent. The thing Robin didn't understand was that although he didn't believe in himself, those around him, including myself, always did. I understood him, even through all his sadness, because he showed me that even the people who live the hardest lives can make the most beautiful pieces of work as long as they work hard for it. Being a musician is not always easy. I for sure had my ups and downs, and in all honesty, there was a point where I hit rock bottom and felt like I couldn't do it anymore. Between school and music, I felt trapped, overworked, and there was always something guiding me back and telling me to not give up. But my situation taught me a very valuable lesson about life. It taught me that yes, at times you need a break, but it also taught me that no matter how stuck you may feel, there's always a way out. Last year, my grandpa passed away at the age of 70 from cancer that had spread throughout his whole body. Nobody could have ever guessed that what we thought was back pain would turn out to be far worse. As a family, we were told that we would have 7 months left to see him, so in my mind, I thought that that was enough time to see him before he was gone. But I didn't. He passed away within the month of his diagnosis. When I was little, I always thought that 70 was a very old age, but when he passed, I realized that there was so much more life that he should have been given. My grandpa loved music. When I was little, he would sing the Four Seasons' Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, while I would stand on his feet and dance around. Looking at my family, none of us could ever figure out where I got my musical inspiration and talent from. But looking back now, I can clearly see that he was the start of a life I never knew I would be living. Months after he passed, my grandma came to Canada from France to watch me sing and came to spend time with my family and told me something that since that day inspires me to never give up on my dream. She told me that before my grandpa passed away, he was listening to my music with her and told her that one day this girl was going to become something amazing. Knowing he felt that way about me was all the more reason to live my life in the way I had intended to not waste time caring if others didn't believe in me, to get back up even though if I felt as though I couldn't anymore, and most of all, to put myself first and love myself even at times where I didn't see it to be possible. What I've learned from writing this speech is that I may not always be the perfect student, the perfect friend and daughter, and sometimes not even the perfect musician, and that's okay. Because the thing about life is, you don't need to be perfect to do what you love, as long as it makes you happy. If you asked me 2 weeks ago what I believe in, despite how outspoken and opinionated I can be, I would have told you that I don't really know. But today, I'm glad to tell you that I believe in hard work. I believe in passion even if it means you won't always succeed. I believe in doing what you love despite the millions of opinions circulating around you. I believe in surrounding yourself with those who love and support you. And I believe in my parents for letting me fulfill my dreams and trusting my instincts. But most of all, I believe in me. Thank you.
Steve, we have 10 minutes till.
Thank you. So we're just going to take a 10-minute break because class are going to transition. So a quick 10-minute break, stretch your legs, and then we'll come back for our fun with speakers once it's quiet.
I think I might see if we can change that to make it better.
Okay.
Because I had to open my box to see if it'd be better on the last one.
It sounds like
way
I'm
better.
definitely getting clear sound. The sound was great except for the last one.
I was listening to everyone.
As long as it's clear enough for people to hear.
Yeah, it definitely is.
There's nothing worse than
Not it
raining.
It's actually
At the end, I turned to Tracy and I was like, I mean, she didn't mention me and Hunter, but I guess that's okay. Well, I surrounded myself with. I mean, you didn't surround yourself with me by choice, but.
I'd like to thank you for mentioning me.
Well, you didn't mention me. Yes, I did. I said that I was a great role model.
I was 99% sure it was going to be about me.
I really thought I was really good. No, actually, it was awesome. How are you?
Not today.
I know other people are doing it. You know.
Changing it a bit. Thank you. That's number one.
Yeah, I have one here last time.
Just give her easy, get a nice and close.
But
You don't have to be gentle with it. Just be like, breathe it in there. I mean, some people have weaknesses. If you don't, you have it.
oh my god, that felt good to hear.
If anything, you get it. I promise.
Hi, good job.
Thank you.
We didn't recognize you because I was waving.
Oh, I didn't know you were waiting.
I was. Yeah, how are you doing?
Thank you.
play on Sunday?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
To Harvard.
It was better Sunday. We went. We went to see the most of the afternoon. And it's nice when we got there. They made a nice, they're making a bar inside, in the main room, the big room. And they have tables and couches, so you can see different, and drink and eat in different ways, like socially. And outside, they're making a huge panel with it. Yeah, so it's beautiful. It's really end of May. Made with his boss, his new partners. Michael's a very nice guy. And it's nice, but first we set up at 11. Yeah. You know that because we have that 8 ordinary meal. So yeah, they were busy. So it was good. So we said with Tanya, we're opening next weekend. We should go for lunch.
Thank you.
For lunch or dinner. For dinner?
Man, you're looking like a rock.
Huh?
Someday, we were just talking about this again. Someday we need to find somebody who can teach American Sign Language.
I gotta deprive myself of things
That'd be
I
awesome.
because I match my family.
You know a guy who teaches it.
I was saying, yeah, in my
Yeah.
church dress.
He's got a
There's a set of every before I dress
He's
like
not
this.
So I'll go more often. That's how we go more often.
Pretty good. But I have no idea. Probably not.
I said, that's your mom. He says, that's your mom. He said, no, that's your mom.
Yeah, you're confident.
That was
Grab the one that's
I know. He's getting emails too and stuff. He can hear them.
Who were the last?
Oh, there's a lot more people watching.
Okay, if we can get quiet in the great hall, that would be wonderful. We'll resume our speeches. All right, next up, we have Jason. Come on up, Jay.
There are approximately 7.4 billion people in the world, and I'm positive that the mass majority have once had or still have a person that they are undoubtedly grateful for. A person you would come to whether you needed a shoulder to cry on. A person you know in your heart that will be there for you no matter the reckless mistakes made. This person can be presented as anybody. A family member, a friend, your partner in a relationship. It honestly doesn't matter. What matters is that person will make you undeniably happy. With that being said, I believe that there are unsung heroes by millions out there, but I'm here just to talk about one. The one that literally made me, my mom. She carried me just below her heart for 9 long months. She let me steal the food and water from her body and shielded me from any possible harm. The only person in the world that will truly love me more than her own life. A love so strong that unless you're a mom, I don't think you can truly understand it. I don't even understand it. But I feel it. I feel it with the person I get to call mom. From as long as I can remember, she's been the first to rise and the last to take rest. She's gotten more done in one day than what most can tackle in a week. I've witnessed her work unthinkable hours, keep an immaculately clean house, be a wonderful daughter, a respectful daughter-in-law, a supportive wife, a fun sibling, and the most supportive and loving mom ever. You would think, being that all that she is, she wouldn't have anything left to give, but you would be wrong. I've also witnessed her speaking up for the weak and assist hundreds of people that required help with one thing or another. She did all this while excelling a full-time position as the executive assistant to 3 different MLAs. She has received awards, recognition, medals for her unselfish work that she has done for her community, yet her humility and grace is awe-inspiring. My mother has always been my emotional guide and inspiration. I see her happiness in my smile and her frown in my, her hurt is in my frown. I feel the power of her complete love, which gives me the strength to fight any storm that may come my way. Our relationship is special, unbelievable, and undescribable. Our relationship endures small disagreements, which occur daily, and it will endure any major conflict, which is bound to arise at least once in our lifetime. Her love for me is pure. All that I am and all that I ever hope to be is a result for her unadulterated and never-ending love. She is my root, my foundation, and I feel so blessed to have been chosen to be one of her daughters. The respect I have for her is incredible. She's courageous, strong, committed, brave, and an extraordinary person. In the last 2 years, I've witnessed her have her heart crushed, her world turned upside down, be betrayed by her best friend, and have been judged by way too many. Any lesser person would have given up and broke, not this woman. I've witnessed her to scrabble the strength she didn't know she had, and I've watched her deal with fears she didn't know existed. And she did this all with the heart of purest gold and eyes of pure love. She hasn't feared the unknown, yet instead she's embraced the journey.
I would be forever grateful if I could be even a fraction of a mother Min has been to me. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. As the saying goes, to the world she's my mother, but to me she truly is my world. She was my first friend, she's without a doubt my best friend, and she will always be my forever friend. I will never feel alone having known her, throughout time in this life or next. My mom is my person, sure, this I believe, but more importantly, this I know. I love you, Mom.
Hi, I'm Noah. When I was told I had to write a speech about what I believed in most, I found it really challenging to think of something. For me, it seemed impossible to write about almost anything I wanted. Frustrated, I sat down, opened my computer, and sat there with a blank page for what seemed to be an hour. Those hours turned to days, and I continued to struggle with finding a topic. I decided to do some brainstorming by looking online when I came across a quote that really opened my eyes. It read, "Whether it was the way you comforted me when I was down, or the way which your hugs magically wiped out my frowns, Mom and Dad, you have been there day after day to make sure my life has turned out this way." After discovering this quote, it was clear to me what I was going to write about. I believe that without my parents, the amazing opportunities I have had and the life I have today would not be possible. Okay. I know you're probably thinking that I did not choose this topic and my parents did. That's actually not true. I told them I was actually writing about basketball. There are no words to express how grateful I am for my family, and that does include my dog, Louie. Although there may be some times where I don't express my gratitude, I'm always thankful for what my parents have given me. They have taught me the importance of hard work, determination, and resilience. They may not realize it, but they are my role models, and I look up to them every day. Both my mom and dad are selfless. It doesn't matter how busy they are, they will always put down whatever they are doing just to help me. Whether school, sports, or finding a job, my parents are willing to lend me a hand. From time to time, I have been angered from them telling me to do my homework or chores, but I now realize that it was actually never for them, but actually for myself. I understand that they always want the best for me and try to make sure that I'm set on the right path. I'd also like to thank my parents for getting me into a great school where I've met most of my friends and had the chance for an awesome education. Lately, my parents have dusted off the old CDs of me as a child and forced me to watch them. At first, I had mixed emotions. I'd say to my parents, I don't even remember that, and why would I want to watch videos of myself? It seems kind of weird, doesn't it? After settling down, however, I began to realize how fortunate I actually was. In every video, I was either somewhere on vacation or playing a sport I loved with a huge smile on my face. I never even really considered how great my childhood really was. Whether it was my dad teaching me how to shoot hoops at the gym in Edmonton while I still sucked on my soother, or my mom taking me on bike rides on trails near our house, my parents would always make me feel involved. There's not one time in my whole life where I felt abandoned by my mom or my dad. Well, there actually was that one time, Mom. Remember when you came to get me from daycare, thought I had gotten in the car and ended up driving off? Okay, don't worry, I'll let that one slide. In all seriousness though, I really do appreciate all the great experiences I've been able to have. I'm only 18 and I have traveled half the world and played almost every sport. The support my family has given me is tremendous. Tutors, finding work, advice, you name it. I always feel they have my back and I appreciate that. Perhaps one of their most prominent examples of their support would be with my sports. When I played hockey and was a goalie, it was hard to say I was much better than wet cardboard. My parents did not care, however. They still came out to every game and supported me with a massive smile on their face. Even if I let in 100 goals, which I'm sure I probably did, my parents would still give me a huge hug once I came off the ice. That really meant a lot to me, especially now that I'm older. When I quit hockey and started basketball, I had absolutely zero confidence. It didn't matter if I was on a fast break or had a wide open shot. I'd never take the opportunity and always look to pass it off. The situation must have been pretty bad because I remember my mom offering to pay me $5 for every shot I made. Anyway, instead of parents tearing me apart for not being more confident. They would provide constructive feedback and tell me just to go for it. This worked. Within a couple of years, I went from the guy who you couldn't pay to take a shot to a guy who took the majority of shots on a team. I cannot thank my parents enough for supporting me through my sports career. Without them, I would not be as confident as I am today. Mom and Dad, your hard work has set me up for life. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for believing in me and trusting me. I could not ask for a better family, and I owe everything to you guys. I'd also like to take the time to thank all the teachers and my friends here at Aberdeen. I know it's not the end quite yet, but we are getting pretty close, and it's going to be hard to say goodbye after 9 years. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome run, and I wish everyone luck in their future endeavors. Thank you.
Hi Mom, hi Dad. Sorry for not telling you what my speech would be on. The time in which I will start writing my speech is 10:46 p.m. April 21st, 2018. 2 days before I will deliver my speech to you. I've always been one of those people who tend to really think at night, but I didn't have to think long to know what my speech would be on. Today I will be talking about something I truly believe, the importance of recognizing and appreciating the sacrifices our parents have made to ensure a better life for not only them, but also their children. Growing up in a household where family was truly cherished, I never really thought too much about my father's stories about growing up in India. There's always something about hearing his stories I could honestly not believe. Whether it be stories of coming face to face with the king cobra, or stories about his family's farm. I never realized how much my dad truly sacrificed only until about 6 months ago. It was as if it hit me all like a storm. I was honestly astonished on how amazing my father truly was. Growing up, I was unable to understand why my parents were never gone to work. Kids in my 4th grade class used to tell me about how their parents were gone to trips for work and how their fathers and mothers would be on business trips. My parents were always there, every single day since the day I was born. I never understood why they took the nearly impossible mission of running their own hotel and taking care of my brother and I. It wasn't long until I understood why they chose to do so. Normally when you hear about a child being adopted, it is before they are able to really know their family and make connections. My father was 12 years old when he was told he was going to be put up for adoption. He was then sent to Canada shortly after to meet his new family. Upon arrival, he had 13 Canadian dollars to his name. He was given $20 and spent $7 on a Coke in China, waiting for his connecting flight. My father didn't speak English and was enrolled in a school where Punjabi wasn't the main language. He was teased for not knowing how to speak English, but with time he slowly came. When he was a little bit older, around the age of 16, he was told by his new parents that he was going to have to get a job and pay rent. He was also forced to live in a laundry room and work, all while going to school. Remember how I was talking about how family is cherished in my house? My father sent his money to India to support the family who gave him up. He worked 3 jobs at the age of 17 and built a house for them in India, all while he lived in a laundry room. It was at around this age where he met my mother. My father went to John Oliver Secondary School, and my mother to Killarney. My mother's father and my dad's father were close friends, which allowed my parents to know of each other. A few years later, my mother was 19 and my dad 20, they got married. Nowadays, 19-year-olds are supposed to be studying and just enjoying life. My mother's parents were extremely disappointed in her choice to marry my dad, so much so that they're almost willing to disown her. And while knowing this, she still married him. Imagine if their marriage didn't work out. What would my mom do at 19 and alone? She risked everything to be with my father, not caring about how much money he made or the way he talked. My parents lost out on their youth. They had no support from their families and lived in a basement while struggling to pay rent. They were never able to really enjoy life, like go out on dinners and fancy days. They sacrificed all they had in the hope of being successful. About 8 years passed, they're finally ready to welcome me to the world, not knowing anything about the struggle that they had gone through, not a clue in the world of the sacrifices made in order to be where they are. The next year, my brother was born. We lived in a very small house in East Van. It was beside a flower shop, and it was on a main road with a lot of road noise. An opportunity arose in 2002. A hotel was for sale in Vernon, BC. All that saving for 8 years wasn't enough to buy it, but it was enough for the bank to approve a loan. We purchased the hotel and actually lived in it for 13 years. It never felt as if we were living in a hotel, however. I was constantly around my parents every day, and it amazed me how many ups and downs we had. We met some of the most amazing people in our hotel. In fact, we actually met Terry Fox's mom and dad. The hotel wasn't easy, however. Ask any of my friends who slept there about the constant noise and the phones ringing. It was 24/7, 7 days a week for 13 years. Waking up early in the morning and sleeping late. There was no one hired to manage the front desk as my mom and dad. I cannot tell you about how many times I've heard the phone ring due to someone being locked out. The hotel also needed renovations, all in which were done by my dad. No one's help at all. A self-made plumber, contractor, and born handyman. We did so much in that hotel that honestly shock you. And all while my parents worked, my father spent his money. My father spent his money on his family. He flew 3 sisters and his parents to Canada. He built a house for them in Vancouver, and all for the parents who gave them money. He still gave them money to be happy. He did amazing things, and my mom supported all his decisions. And truthfully, I believe that they're living proof that dreams do come true. And now it is up to me to make my father's struggles all worth it. I'll work my hardest to make my mom and father proud. I also want to thank you, Mom and Dad, for always supporting me and fueling my dreams. I'm so sorry that it took me this long to realize the path you paved for me and you. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Can we have one more round of applause for today's 12 speakers? All right, I know I thoroughly enjoyed that. I hope you did too. Thank you for joining us for day 1. To be continued tomorrow morning. We have presentations on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So thank you again to those who spoke. We learned a lot about you today and really appreciate your heartfelt words. Have a great day. Well, before you go away,
You spoke today, we're going to go outside and take a quick picture. Somewhere.
Jordan, did you hear that? We're going to go picture outside, okay?
Well, this one.